Good morning, everyone. We're just going to wait 1 or 2 minutes just to give time to the rest of your classmates because right now we're only 19, and so there's not even half of the eighth graders here. So let's just wait for 1 or 2 minutes. While we were waiting for your classmates, I'm going to be talking about last week. We had the first activity, right? Many of you were successful on sending the the homework, but some of you encountered problems. So I want to talk about that. Um, there was one of the readings that was given issue. You were assigned three. One of them had issues for some, not for everybody, because there was a section that was able to complete the whole thing, the three readings, and they were not hiccups. But I know that for the other two sections, it wasn't the same. So I just wanted to talk about it. Last week, I sent a message through uh, your your teachers to let you know that the activity was available for you to do it again. And if you were able to complete it and you have a screenshot of your work, uh, to please send it. Many of you have done it. I have been receiving either on my email or through a message, the picture, the screenshot of your work. But if you still haven't done it, please make sure that you do it. Send a screenshot of your work. That will suffice, and that will be enough for me to have a grade on your work. That's basically kind of like what I wanted to start, and I wanted to remind all of you that last week we had that. That's why we didn't have the class, because you were supposed to be working on that evaluated activity during the class. But still, as I said, if you haven't sent the screenshot once you were finished with the work, it's fine. There were some of you. I sent a specific names with your teachers. So if you haven't received a message from your teacher, then it's probably because I have your grade. And well, now there's more of you. I think I'm going to start just by giving a review of what you were studying the previous class and what we are going to be doing today. So last class that you were working on in this book, which today we are going to be working on English uh, ID, right? That's the book that we are going to be using. Uh, we are going to be working on page 65 because the previous exercises, the vocabulary part and the grammar part, you already worked on it. So today we are just going to review the vocabulary and the grammar, and we are going to continue working on the rest of the exercises for that lesson, which is lesson 6.2. The name of the lesson, if you have your book at hand, is Where Were You Last Night? So, and this whole lesson is talking about the past tense, right? We are going to be focusing on past events. That's our grammar target. That's the target that the vocabulary and the grammar that we are going to have. We are going to be talking about past time phrases, and we are going to be practicing was and where. So in the previous class on this, the vocabulary that you were practicing on, which is on page 64, you have balloons, beer, a cake, candles, fireworks, glasses, invitation, napkins, lemonade, plates, snacks, and wine. All of this because the vocabulary is party items. So all of the nouns that you have there describe or name something that you use at a party, right? At any party, probably, or most parties, whether it is for a kid, an adult, um, or a teenager, you're most likely are going to have a cake, right? Because that's part of the celebration. You're going to have candles to uh, give the number of years the person is turning. And then also you're going to have food, right? Either you're going to have snacks or a meal itself. You're going to have napkins and balloons because that's the way you decorate. So that was the vocabulary. In terms of the grammar, as I said, simple past tense, you know that the past tense, we talked about an event that started and ended in the past, right? There's a specific time where it started and there's a specific time when it finished. For example, you were in seventh grade last year, right? Your year in seventh grade started on January and it finished on December. So you're not longer in seventh grade. Now you're in eighth, but that's why your seventh grade experiences are in the past because you have a specific time where it started and when it ends. To share with you or to kind of refresh your memories on these particular exercises, I want to go ahead and explain a little bit of grammar just to give you context, and then we can work on the exercises on page 65. So let me share with you. So here we have specifically the use of the verb to be in the past. We are going to be using or how we use was and were in the past tense. Remember that the verb to be in present is, am, and are. And we use them for a specific pronouns, right? Same with the past tense. We have that was and where are the past tense or the form of the past tense of be. It is important to be careful when choosing the correct form of the verb for the subject of the sentence, meaning that you have to remember when which pronouns take was and which pronouns take where. In the singular form of the past tense, the correct use of are and the correct use of where is here. You have, I was happy living there. You were always so kind to me. He was the best runner in the school. She was the first woman in space, and it was unusual to see Emily crying. So, this is the way you use was and where, either with pronouns, right? You know that I, he, she, and it, you're going to use was, and for we, you, they, you're going to use where. You're never going to say, I were there yesterday, okay? Just for you to keep that in mind, right? Same applies for, in the same rule that applies in the present, the same rules applies in the past. So far, any questions or doubts? Okay, so now we have the use of where. We were all poorly last week. You were brilliant, class 4. They were stuck on the bus for hours. With these pronouns, you're never ever going to use was. You're always going to use where. Even if, because sometimes it happens that when you're listening to a song or probably in a movie or you see it in a book, people change grammar conveniently or they're to sound more native, they you probably heard in a movie or probably on a video or something on social media. um, I work crazy, for example. But just because someone, a native, says it doesn't mean that it's grammatically correct. So we need to pay attention to what is grammatically correct because that's our goal, right? Um, to use the proper grammar, the proper vocabulary, and pronunciation as well, right? Everything is important when learning a language. So even if you hear it in any type of social media or movies or music, doesn't mean that is correct. Okay. So far, any questions? Here it's better divided. You have, for singular pronouns, you're going to use was, right? And for plural, you're going to use where. For the pronouns that you're going to use was is I, he, she, it. And from the pronouns you're going to use where is we, you, they. And that's something that you have to keep in mind. Okay, so a quick, it's just one question. Which of these three sentences is correct? Can somebody tell me? Just one of these sentences is correct. And I want you to tell me which one.
B.
Yes, exactly. B is the one that is correct because remember that the pronouns that we use was, we have I, he, she, and it. And the ones we, they, and you, we use where. So obviously, as you can see in the three sentences, A and C are incorrect and B is correct. So now I want us, everybody, we are going to be working on the book. Go ahead and let's go to the book on page 65. I'm going to be sharing with you in a moment. And in there, we are going to be working on exercise B. You have to order the sentences. You have words there that are scrambled. You have to unscramble the words to be able to create a sentence. I will be sharing in a minute. So hopefully everybody's there. The first one is the scrambled words that you have there are was it birthday James Foster. So does anybody have what kind of sentence it will be or how that sentence will be created? Anybody? Page 65, if everyone's there. Someone?
Exercise B, right?
Yes. Page 65, exercise B, 6.7, you have a few sentences there that are, well, that you have to turn into sentences, right? Anybody that the sentences?
Yeah. It was Jane Foster's.
Yes, excellent. It was James Foster's birthday. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that you're on the right page. I'm going to, as I said, share with you. We are going to listen to the audio, and then you're going to be going into the exercise. Give me just a second. We are going to be moving on to the page. So this is the page that you're working on, right? Page 64 and 65, we are going to be focusing on this exercise in particular. Let's listen, and then we are going to be working on that exercise.
Audio 6.7.
I was at a great party yesterday, Rob.
Oh, that's nice, Martha. What kind of party was it?
It was Jane Foster's birthday.
Oh, were there a lot of people?
Yep, there were about 50.
Wow. Was there a lot of food?
Oh, yes, and there was an enormous chocolate cake.
And was Jane's partner there?
Yep, he was. Rick and Jane make a perfect couple. He's so attractive. They were so beautiful together, and the music was great. Everyone was dancing, you know.
He sounds nice. Were Jane's parents there?
No, they weren't. Do you know them?
Yes, I was Jane's boyfriend before Rick.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that. In fact, the party wasn't that great, and her new boyfriend was not really that nice.
No problem. It's fine, don't worry about it.
Hey, there was a great show on TV last night. Did you see it?
Okay, so if you listen to the audio, you're able to get most of the answers. They mention in the audio all of the information that you have from 1 to 10. We are going to listen again, and after we listen again, we are going to check the sentences that you have created. While you're listening, try to create the sentences. So after we listen, we can check. Is it clear? Guys, is it clear what you're going to be doing right now? Any doubts or questions? Just, I'm going to say it again. We listen a second time just to confirm the information. Then we check what kind of sentences you have made.
Audio 6.7.
I was at a great party yesterday, Rob.
Oh, that's nice, Martha. What kind of party was it?
It was Jane Foster's birthday.
Oh, were there a lot of people?
Yep, there were about 50.
Wow. Was there a lot of food?
Oh, yes, and there was an enormous chocolate cake.
And was Jane's partner there?
Yep, he was. Rick and Jane make a perfect couple. He's so attractive. They were so beautiful together, and the music was great. Everyone was dancing, you know.
He sounds nice. Were Jane's parents there?
No, they weren't. Do you know them?
Yes, I was Jane's boyfriend before Rick.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that. In fact, the party wasn't that great, and her new boyfriend was not really that nice.
No problem. It's fine, don't worry about it.
Hey, there was a great show on TV last night. Did you see it?
Okay, so we listened to the audio twice, and as you can see, the sentences that you have to create are from the audio. So we already done number 1, right? It was Jane's Foster's birthday. Does anybody have the answer for number 2? What would be the sentence that is created from those words?
Were there a lot of people?
Excellent. Were there a lot of people? Perfect. Thank you very much. What about number 3? With those words, which sentence comes out of those words?
There were about 50.
Excellent. Perfect, guys. What about number 4? Does anybody have the answer for number 4?
Was there a lot of food?
Perfect again. Thank you. Number 5. It starts with, there was an enormous chocolate cake. That's how number 5 is created. There was an enormous chocolate cake. What about number 6? Number 6 is a question. What do you get on number 6? Anybody? Or do I call from?
Was there Jane's parents?
Excellent. Was Jane's partner there? That's number 6. Was Jane's partner there, which is also a question. And 7, it's also a question as well. Does anybody have the answer for number 7? It's a question as well, and you have to start with the verb to be. So there's your
Were Jane's parents there?
excellent, guys. Very good. Were Jane's parents there? And number 8 is an answer. So what's the answer that comes from the question? Number 8.
No, they weren't.
Perfect. No, they weren't. Number 9 is a simple sentence. So does anybody have the answer?
I was Jane's boyfriend before Rick.
Perfect. Excellent answer. Thank you. And we have number 10. It is, the party wasn't that great, right? Those are the sentences that were created from the scrambled words that you have from 1 to 10. Any questions or any doubts? No? Okay. Let's move on to, now that we have talked about the grammar in the presentation, I want us everybody to go to exercise C. In exercise C, you have to complete the grammar table, and whether you have to use the verb was or were, or if you have to use the contraction, right? Remember that you can say was not or were not, or use the contraction in English, which is wasn't or weren't, depending on how you want to use the language, right? Whether you use the contraction of not, it is grammatically correct. And that's what we are going to do here. So we have, in the singular form, we have he was. So how are you going to use it in the negative? She. In the negative, if you say he was, you say she wasn't, right? Or she was not. Without the contraction, that's why you have 2 lines in there. You have she was not, and that's how you have to complete it. And then you have he. In the form of a question, you have to use it. How would you use it in the form of a question, the verb to be with he? Anybody?
Was.
Was he? Excellent. Perfect. And now in the plural form, remember that for the plurals, instead of using was, you have to use were. So you say they were home, right? And in the negative form, you would have to use only not, because where is already there, right? So you say we were not. Then in the form of the question, you have were they home? And then the contraction for was, what would be the contraction for was? Anybody? What's the contraction? You say, yes, he was, or what would be the contraction? He
Wasn't.
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 Thank you. Excellent. So, and you have the right form for yes, they were, and no, they weren't. That's basically it. So the last activity, we are going to do it rather quickly because we are going to be completing on exercise D. You have an email there. And there are some words missing. And of course, the words that are missing are the verb to be in the past tense, which means you're going to be using was and where. So I would like everybody, if you have, let's do it together. So as soon as I start reading, if you, you can go ahead and say the word that is missing. So we have,
Teacher,
yes?
I think your screen is freeze because I just can see some, well, I just can see some, I don't know, but I freeze.
Okay, let me check. I'm going to stop sharing probably. And what about now? Wait. Yeah. I'm going to pause it and resume again. What about now? Oh no. Yeah, you were right. I'm going to try for you to see it again. So let's finish up the email. So we have, hi Martin, what verb would you use? Was or where?
Where?
Were you, sorry, where were you yesterday evening? It, which one will you use? Which verb will you use? Was or where? It. Which verb form do you use?
Was.
Yes. It was Alina's party and it was great. There, which one will you use? Was or where? Does anybody know? There was great music and dancing and the food was delicious. Were you at home? Your cell phone wasn't on, so I couldn't talk to you. You, which one will you use? Your cell phone wasn't on, so I couldn't talk to you. You? Was aware or wasn't aware. It can be also, can also be the negative form. What about now? Can you see my screen now? Yes or no? Does it, is it still freeze? Hello, can you hear me? We are on this exercise, right? So we have, you weren't at school and you weren't at the party. Where were you? I hope you're okay. Right back, Stacy. So that's how the email finishes. Hopefully everybody was able to get the answers. Now to wrap it up, I want us to play a game. I know you have played this before. I'm going to share the pin of the Kahoot game with you, and you can be able to log in. Give me a second, and if you have problems looking at my screen, let me know, please. Are you able to see the pin right now? Let me know. We are going to be practicing simple past tense, was and where. So let me know when everybody is ready. Are you able to see my screen, guys?
Yes.
Okay, great. So 1 more minute and we will start. Okay, just whoever is able to log in. We are not going to be able to do all of them because there are 20 questions. We are only going to do 10, and let's see who's able to remember all of the rules for the use of was and where. I'm going to wait just a few more seconds to see how many of you are able to, because of time, right? Not everybody's going to be able to log in. Okay, let's see. There are 10, 9 of you. There's supposed to be a lot of players right now. Because of time, as I said, I won't be able to wait for everyone, but I'm going to give as much time as I can for everybody to log in. So far, there are 11 of you. So let's see. Okay, let's start. Remember, there are 20 questions, exercises, but because of time, as I said, we are not going to be able to do them all. So the negative and the positive form of the verb. So we have the first one is a question. You can go ahead and choose which is the best answer. So it's, yes, was John here yesterday? Because if you substitute the name John, then you're going to have he, right? Let's go on to the next one. As I said, you can see there are 20, but we are only going to do 10. So this is a question again. Which one are you going to use? Are you going to use was? Are you going to use wasn't, or where? Excellent. Perfect, guys. Now, let's move on to number 3. Which form of the verb are you going to use? Are you going to use was, weren't, or was? Let's see. Excellent, guys. You have he wasn't here, he was absent. Now we move on to the next, which is 4. They was married, weren't married, or wasn't married. Which one will you choose? Perfect. They weren't married in 2008. Good, guys. Now we have number 5. It's a question. Which form of the verb are you going to use? Are you going to use where, went, or was? Perfect, guys. Excellent. Now we move on to number 6, which is, let's see. Excellent. Went. Now we are going to move on to number 7. They. Which one will you use with they? Whether it is affirmative or negative. You have to think about. Excellent. They were. Now we move on. We're about to finish. 8. It. In here you have to decide whether it is affirmative or negative. So let's see. Excellent. In this case, you have to use a negative. It wasn't, right? And one more with it. You have to decide whether it is a positive or negative. Excellent, guys. And we have the last one. This is a question. So which form of the verb are you going to use? Was, where, or are you going to use the negative form? Perfect. Okay. This is the podium. Third place, we have Vanessa. Me is in the second place. And we have Pamela. The runner-ups are going to be Gabriela and so I'm going to, I wanted to finish with that exercise just to make sure that, you know, the grammar of the class was hopefully understood. I don't know if you have any questions or any doubts. Questions or doubts? No? Okay, we will see each other in the next class. And thank you everyone for participating. Have a nice day today. Bye, everyone.
Bye, teacher. Thank you.
Bye. Take care.
Bye, teacher.
Bye. Take care, everyone.
Bye, teacher.
Bye. Take care.
Bye, teacher.
Bye. Take care. Bye, everyone.